Larry Williams is the husband, Carrie Williams the wife. Together they were parents of 8, but now it's 7. The daughter they adopted from Ethiopia is dead, and if the allegations are true, some say they are the parents from hell.
Ms. Williams, can I just ask you, did you love this child? Can you just answer that question, if you love this child?
The question is, did Hannah die in the name of God? The Williams lived on a large piece of secluded land in Skagit County, Washington. According to a sheriff's office affidavit, the mother told investigators she found 13-year-old Hannah face down outside that house, with mud in her mouth and not breathing. But there is so very much she left out. Here is what the affidavit says. Hannah had a large lump on her head and several fresh red bloody markings on her hips, knees, elbows, and face. And when doctors performed Hannah's autopsy, they declared the 13-year-old was abnormally thin. On the forehead was a hematoma, swollen bruise. There were abrasions on the right and left upper pelvis area. There were patterned contusions on the legs. Prosecutors are investigating whether those beatings came because of biblical teachings. The other children, who implicate their parents in the affidavit, told investigators Hannah was often left outside in the cold as discipline. Hannah was so weakened from the discipline, hours of rain in the bone-chilling cold was more than she could take, according to authorities. But listen to the initial 911 call from the mother to police. Look who she blames for her child's death.
What is your emergency?
Yes, I think my daughter just killed herself.
In the affidavit, Hannah's 9-year-old brother told detectives that people like his dead sister got spankings for lying and go into the fires of hell. Detectives say Larry Williams made his son stop talking to authorities after that. We met Larry Williams with his attorney in court during a motion hearing.
Mr. Williams, can you tell us what happened to your daughter? What do you think God thinks about this case, sir?
Among the evidence found in the house, a variety of books and videotapes by well-known fundamentalist Christian authors Michael and Debbie Pearl, including a book called
To Train Up a Child.
Yes.
To Train Up a Child is a best-selling book which advocates corporal punishment of children from infant on up. The authors of the book say the writings are guided by the teachings in the Bible.
It says that if you spare the rod, you hate your child.
I interviewed the Pearls this past summer because of a chillingly similar case. Kevin and Elizabeth Schatz are now in prison after pleading guilty to killing their daughter Lydia, also adopted from Africa. Taken from their home as evidence to train up a child. Mike Ramsey is the DA who prosecuted the Schatzes.
What do you think influenced the Schatzes to beat, terrorize, and torment their children like that?
The book by Mr. Pearl. There's no doubt about that.
Let's say a 7-year-old slugs his sister.
You explain to him that what he's done is violent and that that's not acceptable in society and it's not acceptable in our home. Then I would take him somewhere like into his bedroom and I would tell him I'm going to give him 15 licks.
With what?
Probably a belt. A kid that big, a boy, I'd probably use a belt. It'd be handy. I might use a wooden spoon or a piece of like plumbing supply line.
A plumbing supply line. One of the pieces of evidence Larry Williams gave to sheriff's deputies in Washington State, after authorities said he acknowledged he and his wife used it to strike their children.
Mrs. Williams, do you like the book To Train Up a Child?
We have no comments today.
Okay. Could you tell us what happened to your daughter, though? Do you still say that she killed herself?
We're not.
Excuse me, sir?
No comment today.
Larry and Carrie Williams are out on bond. They have pled not guilty. They've been ordered not to talk to their surviving children, who are now in foster homes.
I don't use the term hitting.
Wait, what's the word?
Spanking.
Prosecutors say they have no plans to pursue charges against Michael and Debbie Pearl.
So you're not accepting any blame?
Absolutely not.
And it's the same sentiment they have regarding the death of Hannah Williams in Washington. The Pearls released a statement on their Facebook page, which says, "We share in the sadness over the tragic death of Hannah Williams. What her parents did is diametrically opposed to what is taught in the book To Train Up a Child." And it continues in part, "The alleged presence of the book makes it no more responsible for Hannah's death than the presence of a weight loss book in the home of an overweight person is responsible for their obesity." Larry and Carrie Williams are charged with homicide by abuse and felony assault of one of their other children. The prosecution is just beginning to methodically go through the evidence, and that includes reading To Train Up a Child cover to cover.